Shalom, shalom. First off, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, Yahweh being the true name of Heavenly Father, Yahushai being named for his only begotten Son, who the world eagerly calls God, in Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to our apostles, double honors to our elders, a great millstone, who taught us truth and will well, and salutations to you, hopefully pushing this truth and honesty and sincerity. This is Billy Yawasop, coming to you now, lesson to the spirit power of Yahweh Yahushai, give another update, end times and events. This is breaking. Hurricane Melissa has basically made landfall on the Caribbean and Jamaica, eastern Cuba, and the Bahamas, and it's hitting as a Category 5, which is the highest level of hurricane you can get. So this is deemed as catastrophic. It's definitely something to keep watch in the midst of everything that's going on, with the United States government shutdown, them shutting off the EBT. We still got the plagues, the plagues hitting the earth as well in various places. And right now, Jamaica got hit. So we're waiting to see the aftermath behind it. There's a lot of people that live over there in Jamaica that don't have certain living conditions and shelters as they would do in other people like in areas of Florida. A lot of them live kind of rural lives, so there could be a lot of death tolls behind this. And this is ultimately, the judgment of the Heavenly Father, because, you Jamaicans and you people over there in the Caribbean, a lot of y'all are Hebrew Israelites, okay? And you guys haven't been living your lives right, man. Worshiping that Rastafari religion and shit like that, and that's off. And walk around and adopting dreadlocks as part of your culture, when that's an idol that you got on top of your head that represents the East Indian god Shiva, and then a lot of you adopted the culture too of smoking marijuana, and all this stuff is not supposed to be a part of anybody's culture. Your real culture, your real heritage is in the Bible, and you're of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, you're a Hebrew Israelite, and once you come back to your heritage in situations like this, the Lord can preserve you and have divine intervention to protect you. But if anybody that's living in that region, when they get unalived, ultimately that's all of the Heavenly Father's will. Okay, but I got a couple precepts that go into it as well. This is Luke 21:25. It says, "There shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring." So sea and the waves roaring goes into these typhoons and hurricanes and tsunamis. All right, these different quote-unquote natural disasters on the water. All right, that's a sign that we're in the end times, the last days. And we've been saying that every year there's been an increase in some type of natural disaster as being more catastrophic than the previous years. There was a few hurricanes that hit last year that was of concern, and one of them was projected to be a Category 5. I believe it made landfall at like a 3 or 4, and this time it's hitting at a full-on 5. All right, so the Israelites on them islands, man, getting judged. And if there's any hopeful elect there and brothers that's believers, brothers and sisters that's believers in this thing, send praise up to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and He'll preserve you, give you shelter and the food that you need to make it through this storm. You gotta have faith in that. And we're all about to experience a lot of natural disasters. I know over here in Kansas City, we're on a New Madrid fault, and this place is well overdue for a major catastrophic earthquake to hit again. We haven't been hit since like the 1800s. It was like the last largest big earthquake that made all these hills over here in Kansas City. But there's going to be another one that's going to hit. So we're going to need the Lord to survive these things. Okay? This is Isaiah 29:6. "Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire." So this is a future prophecy. Okay, in the end days, all of these on this list would be hitting. Okay, so we're seeing the storm in Tippus right now with this hurricane Melissa, man. This is 2 Timothy 3:1. So this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And perilous means full of danger or risk. So dangerous, risky times shall come, and we're seeing it right now. Okay, and here in the U.S., we're expecting and projecting a lot of riots and stuff like that from them cutting off the stamps. So a lot of these supermarkets gonna get raided. It's gonna have to be hired, hired additional security there. It's gonna be bad, man. And these things are just gonna get worse, man. These storms, they're gonna increase. And the scriptures talk about how the prophets will be able to send plagues too. So they'll literally be able to call missile strikes, but instead of missiles, it'll be with quote unquote natural disasters. This is what you're seeing. The hopeful elect. Scriptures talk about how they'll smite the earth with plagues as often as they will. So imagine being able to call something like this to hit somebody for judgment. That's what the prophets are going to have the ability to do when the Lord unlocks them to have spiritual power. So in these times, man, we just got to stay prayed up and, stay focused on the Heavenly Father. And He'll deliver us and protect us in all the times of His judgment that He's got going out now. So with that, Lord's will's lesson was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close out, though. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh. I give divine to our apostles, divine to our elders, great millstone, and touch the truth of will well, and such as the whole liquid is truth, honesty, sincerity. Shalom.